Hey everyone, we're going to round out the complex numbers with powers of I. This is a popular SOL question that I love to make sure everybody gets correctly because it can be really easy. Powers of I mean that you're going to raise I to the first power, the second power. As you can see, we're going to raise it to the 32nd power, 17th, 10th, 19th. It can be any number that they choose. The nice thing about this is that it goes in a pattern. And I also want to show you where your I button is in your calculator. So, I'm going to put the calculator up here for you. Let me clear that out. If you go to second and then your decimal point button right down here, do you see that there's a little I right above that decimal point in blue? That's your I button, and anytime you have to do operations with I, you can use that. So second decimal point gives you the little I, okay? So if you have powers of I, you can put them in your calculator. Now sometimes if the power is a very big number, the calculator doesn't respond very well. For instance, if we put in I to the, how about I to the 29th power? That one came out nicely. I think it's because I have a newer calculator. The older calculators sometimes give you numbers that have a E in them, and they look something like this. Like you would have like I and then E and then 0.278, or maybe there would be, there would be like a 10 at the end, i.e. -10, something like that. They give you really weird answers like this. So I want to show you a way to work around that if you have an older calculator. The newer calculators seem to be doing a nice job. So if you have a newer calculator, you're not going to have any problem with this. But this basically is for those of you that have the older calculators. So key concept. I to the first is I squared is -1. I to the third is -I, and I to the fourth is 1. And it's going to follow this pattern over and over again. It keeps repeating itself. So like if you wanted to know I to the 5th, you'd come right back up here. I to the 6th is this one, I to the 7th, I to the 8th, I to the 9th comes right back up to the top, I to the 10th, I to the 11th, I to the 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and so forth. So if I needed to figure out I to the 32nd power, I left off at 20, so this would be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So the answer would be 1. These are all going to simplify to one of these 4 answers. Okay? And if you have a hard time remembering 4 powers of I
in any calculator, any graphing calculator, and they're going to come out really nice. Like they won't give you the weird answers that I was talking about before. So these are all in your calculator. When you take a test, just go ahead and punch in I to the first, I to the second, I to the third, I to the fourth, and then you'll have your pattern. If I wanted to do I to the 17th, it would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So the answer is I. I to the 10th would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. -1. I to the 19th would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So your answer is -I. Okay? So that's a really easy question to get right on the SOL. I want you all to make sure you get that one. I would hate for somebody to miss that one for a silly reason. Also down here, operations with I. These also can be all done in your calculator. You just have to, or you can combine like terms, because you can do a lot of them mentally. When you get down here, you have to do some foiling. This also takes some foiling.
You can put this one in your calculator or multiply by the conjugate. I just want to show you how nice it is if you are doing it in your calculator or just to check your work. So the first one, put the parentheses, like put everything just like the problem has it. Plus 2 plus I, like that. And that's your answer. 5 plus 2I. And you would get that if you did it mentally too. 3 plus 2 is 5, and then I plus I is 2I. So it's not terribly hard. You kind of treat it like it's an x, like it's a variable. The next example, 5 minus I minus 6 plus 2I. Punch that in, and we get -1 minus 3I. This one we can just distribute. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2I is 4I. You can put that one in your calculator too, but I think it was faster for us to just do that one mentally. This one, 2 minus I times 3 plus I. So 7 minus I is your answer. Next one down here, 5 plus 4I times 6 minus 2I times 2 is going to be 76 plus 28I. And then over here, now for this one I want to make sure that I talk about this one in the calculator. You can't use alpha y equals for this one, okay? No alpha y equals. It won't work. The calculator will say that there's an error. So instead, you're going to put it in parentheses, 6 minus 5I, and then put divided by, parentheses, 3I. Everything has to be put in parentheses, okay? So that's going to be that crazy looking decimal. No fear, we can do that. Hit the math button. Choice number 1, change it to a fraction, hit enter again, and then you get a nice answer. So how do we do that? We did 6 minus 5I, then we did divided by 3I, and then we changed it to a fraction, which is math number 1, and you get -5/3 minus 2I. And that's your answer. The last two, you're solving for x. You know how to do this. You did these in geometry. They just come out to have answers with an I in them this time. So you're going to subtract 18. X squared equals -18. Then you're going to take the square root of both sides. So x equals, there's that square root with the negative. So you're going to cross this out, put an I down there, and then 2 times 9, 3 times 3. Take out a 3, leave the 2. So x equals 3I root 2. That's your answer for that one. This one, subtract 96. 8x squared equals -96. Divide by 8. X squared equals -12. Take the square root. So x equals, now we're taking the square root of a negative number. So you're going to cross this cross this negative out, put an I in your answer, and then break down the 12. 12 is 3 and 4, 2 and 2, so 2 root 3. So this would be x equals 2I root 3. And that's the answer. Try your practice problems in the remainder of this packet and see if you have any questions for me. Thanks!